What's up, guys? Something a little different today I'm gonna do. It may not appeal to all of you car guys, but it is in fact one of our three main categories that we cover here at McDaniel Motorsports, which is dirt bikes. I've been riding for the better part of my life, and I've got scars to prove it. However, that's not what this is about. This is actually about making a bike your own, and that's what I'm going to do today. This is actually a 2025 KTM EXC-500. It's a full street legal bike in 50 states. It's actually it's basically the same frame as a motocross version of these bikes. They kind of just mix and match them all, and then of course Husky, Gas are the other two of the three brands that this company makes. Finally, the 2024 model was when they did a full redesign of the frame, I believe, and 25 is the first year of the special edition. This is referred to as the Champion Edition. But yeah, overall it's a great bike. I've had a few of these. They do everything really, really well, especially in the dual sport range of bikes. However, the downside of these bikes is that they do come very, very anemic from the factory to pass all the EPA rules and regulations of the road, as most of you probably know. So we are going to combat that as well in this video. So what I like to do is personalize my bike to my preferences, and it's a lot of just personal preference. However, the undoing of a lot of things like this sort of thing may actually help you in your endeavors doing your own. But anyway, we build bikes here. I've built many bikes over the years for friends and family and just fellow riders. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the stuff we don't want, especially that hinders performance. We're gonna do an exhaust, just a slip-on for now. The head pipe, it's kind of debatable as to whether that's worth replacing or not. Personally, I don't think it is, but I've always kind of wanted one. But anyway, this has gotten out of hand as far as pricing goes, and the tariffs haven't even hit yet, so I can only imagine how much more it's going to be once that happens. But here's kind of the overall gist. So this is from Takamoto. It is a unhooking of said components and capping said components that would otherwise hinder performance. Wink wink. The other thing, I personally think headlights look dorky, so I will only run the headlight if I'm riding at night, which is very, very rare. So I'm gonna have this guy, and everything's really plug and play on these bikes. There's no soldering or butt connectors or anything. It's all plug and play. So you can remove this headlight bezel, and I'll show you how. And along with that comes turn signals. They're super clunky from the factory, and they don't look very pleasing to the eye. Let's see, we are going to do an ECU upgrade. This is by a company named Get. I don't know if it's GET or Get, but yeah, these are a big deal, and this is actually a huge part of this build. It's going to make this bike run like a full-on race bike motocrosser, which is kind of what I crave. I like the big hit off the bottom in order to get that front wheel up for obstacles. We got our license plate here. This is actually the one that comes with the bike. Comes on all these bikes. All the Woods are slash enduro rated bikes will have these guys. Some of them will have extra stuff, but we're going to reuse this and basically just put this license plate, this guy, on to there, which is real straightforward. This is the rear turn signal, which is actually also the rear brake light. Personally, I'm not real big on putting lights in the bike, but honestly, it's a necessity, because and the reality is if you just have your taillight that came on the bike, that's fine, but you still gotta have blinkers. So this actually has blinkers on either side of the rear lens, so that's pretty cool. And then the front blinkers, I'm still undecided as to whether I'm going to have to put these guys on, but I probably will at some point, and they'll probably go. You kind of strategize where you put these things, because if you take a digger, bike goes down, you obviously don't want them out here. You want to put them in here where they're not going to get branches, or they'll have a little extra protection from roost inside here. So I usually conceal them pretty well. You can actually get real creative and put them down here where no one will see them, so we may revisit that, but this is actually part of the headlight bezel, so I'm not sure where I'm going to put those, but I'll get to that. And then grips. Gone are the days of glue-on grips. You can still buy them, but why mess with it and do all the safety wiring? It's a hassle. You cut your hands, and not that I'm against it. I always do safety wire with glue-on grips, but this is kind of my first endeavor with the lock-ons from this company. This is the flasher for the LED turn signals. This is the bracket that allows me to mount this guy, which is pretty simple. The bike comes with the 48 rear sprocket, and I'm going to go to a 50 just for a little more added hit off the bottom end. These bikes have a ton of top end, so you can actually give a little bit up by gearing down or up, however you look at it. But I'm actually gearing down because the 48 on the stock, on the bike stock, this is a 50, so theoretically it's gearing down. Numerically, obviously up, so it depends on how you look at it. And a new chain. I only bought the chain because I just don't like O-ring chains, because they're really hard to clean and they're labor intensive to actually do that. You got to scrub them with a chain brush and all that. It's just a hassle. I prefer to take my pressure washer and blast the links and then blow them out with air and then lube them when they're warm. So we're going to be converting over to an MX style chain. I have MX roots, and I personally think these are a lot lighter and they're more simple. Obviously these little mods, you kind of see my roots back to motocross, and it just basically just goes back to a more simple time when these bikes weren't on and off road. So basically it's just, again, it's all personal preference. And of course you got to have two filters, because who wants to clean a filter every single time you ride or before you ride? So, and then I'm a taller guy. I'm actually 6'2", so I go with a Wyndham or a Pastrana bend. This is actually a CR bend, Honda CR. For some reason they came with a taller bend than most other guys, so I always prefer to do a tall bend for ease of standing, which is 90% of my riding style. And then of course these tires, what's up buddy? These tires are good for nothing. They're not good on the street, and they certainly aren't good in the dirt, so we have to get rid of those and put them on the classifieds. And with tires I'm also kind of weird. I like to mix and match. Obviously ideally you would want a set of matching tires, but in this case it's, again, personal preference. I decided to go with the Shinko Cheater, and this is super, you watch how much these give. Super pliable and squishy. I ride mostly DG and hard terrain, dirt only. I don't do much street driving. If I'm going to do any sort of street, it'll be to transition from one dirt trail to another, so that's the most street this bike will ever see with me on it. And then so I went with the Cheater, and this is actually a brand new tire from Dunlop. It's the AT82. It's a 120/90/18, and this is actually it's a dual directional tire, so you can actually get, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn these cups forward, so the bike will be going forward this way, and you can actually run them the other way, and I believe that changes the dynamic of how this tire works. So just repeating what I was told, but I'm excited to try that guy, and I'm also excited to try that spongy front tire. It is actually a little bit wider than stock, so I guess we'll see how that goes. I have my buddy John, he actually has this same tire, and I took a cue from his book to try this guy out. So thanks, John. Hope you're watching this video and enjoying it, every minute of it. So So yeah, so I did get a start. I've had this bike for about 2 weeks now, and I've exercised a great deal of restraint not taking this thing apart because I didn't have all my parts yet. But I did remove this guy, and obviously got that bracket off there. But it's all simple stuff like this. The reason for this video is to show you that you can do this stuff. You don't need to go down and leave your bike at the dealer and have them install this. I'm going to show you how to do this stuff. It's not hard. It just takes time and a little bit of finesse, especially the tires. Most people don't change their own tires, but I do, even if it means a skin knuckle here and there. I'm always proud when the thing airs up and holds air. That's always a hit or miss kind of deal, but I just prefer to do it myself. I know I have rim protectors. I have a few different tire irons that are really nice. And so I just cringe when I see guys with scratched up wheels from dealers installing their tires. And I'm not saying all dealers do it. I'm just saying I've seen some dealers use a Sharpie marker to cover up their scratches on a brand new bike, and that to me is really, really cringy. So, and then to complement the ECU, obviously the muffler, I didn't show you guys what this is. So let me get this out here. I am excited about this for only one reason, because it really allows this bike to breathe. But I got the aluminum one. So they make a stainless, I believe, pretty sure they make a stainless, titanium, and this aluminum can. I don't know how long they've been making this particular one. I'm sure it's been around for a while, but aluminum is obviously durable, and let's face it, this bike is no featherweight. But I am going to be taking everything off that's unnecessary in order to make this bike work the way I want it to work. So hopefully all that makes sense to you guys. I'm going to show you every step of the way into nauseating detail, but hey, how am I supposed to lay a trail for you guys if I don't show all the steps? So feel free to fast forward if it's stuff that you already know. But for those of you who do not know and want to learn how to do this stuff, this video is for you.